Hello, and welcome to another basketball edition of the Adrienne Ross Show. I'm here for the monthly Q&A. Many of you know that I have 4 memberships to this channel. You hit that join button, which you can see right on the homepage of the Adrienne Ross Show. You click that, it shows you the memberships. And I have Rookie, MVP, Legend, and GOAT. And one of the perks for Legend and GOAT is the monthly Q&A. So they give me a question, could be about basketball, could be about myself, and I will share some of them, if not all of them, and answer them. And so that's what I'm going to do, doing the Q&A. And while we're on the topic, let me give a shout out to the newest members of MVP, and that is Pamela, and it's also CJ Parks. Thank you so much for joining MVP. And now let's get to the Q&A. I'm going to start with Margie Savage 3222. And Margie said, NCAA basketball has started, and I watched my beloved UNC Tar Heels men's basketball last night. I can't tell you how refreshing it was to see high quality officiating, which had a direct impact on the quality of the game and my enjoyment of it. Why is it that NCAA has better officials than WNBA? Is it the money? Could the NBA have helped with finding better officials? Do NCAA officials get better training? I just don't understand why WNBA could not do better. The officials have had a tremendous impact on the quality of the game as well. To compare and contrast, watch any NCAA basketball game. It turns my stomach to think of the officiating in the WNBA. Well, that's an interesting question. And I don't know if money has anything to do with it at all. I mean, we all know that the WNBA officiating needs to be shored up, to say the least. But from what I was able to find, how much college referees make depends on the level of experience in the division they're officiating. So, for example, Division I referees can earn maybe about $150,000 a season if you're talking about the most experienced referees in Division I, and they get paid per game, but it could be as much as or more than $150,000 a season, less than that for Division II and Division III, less than that for newer referees. When you talk about the WNBA, they get paid per game also, but they can earn up to 100, maybe 180,000 per season. So, and then when you get to the NBA, it's a lot more than that. But we're talking about WNBA versus NCAA. So it would seem to me that the WNBA referees could possibly make more than the college. I don't know that for sure, but that's something that I found. So I don't know that money has anything to do with it. So, I mean, it does beg the question, why does the officiating seem so horrible, seem so bad, seem like something that both finals coaches were complaining about at the end of that series, New York Liberty versus the Minnesota Lynx. So I don't have an answer to that question, but it's a good question. I hope that people are not working to the, well, if you pay me more money, then I'll do a better job. So I don't think that's it. I think the WNBA needs to shore this thing up. And like I said, they need to do better training, and they need to be more extensive with that training. Other than that, I have no idea. Well, what a good question that is. Something we all want to know. Okay. Next question is, thank you, Margie Savage 3222 for that. King's Kid Girl 2. So she said, what does it mean regarding fouls when a team is, quote, in the bonus? And so she asked 2 questions. And what is the most significant rule change in the game of pro basketball since its inception? In the bonus is in the WNBA, within a half, a team has 7 fouls, and unless they're fouled when they're taking a shot, they don't get to shoot. Right? They get 7 fouls that are given to them, and the possession obviously changes, but there's no shooting unless it was a shooting foul. But once they hit the 8th foul, they're in the bonus. So that means that from there on in, wherever that is in terms of however much time is left on the clock, they then are in the bonus and they will shoot 2. So whether the other team was shooting or not, they're gonna shoot 2 once the bonus. And that again happens after the 8th foul. At the 8th foul, I should say, then they are in the bonus in the WNBA. Okay. And the other question, the most significant basketball change since its inception? Well, I don't know. I mean, the basketball was invented in the 1800s. Dr. James Naismith, they used the peach basket, etc. There's that. But I would probably say one of the biggest changes is the 3-point shooting. I mean, it's easier, one might say, to lead a bunch of people in scoring to rack up more points now than it was back when there was no 3-point line, when everything was 2 points. So now they got the 3 points. So, and that was some of the arguments that some people have said concerning Caitlin Clark, even in breaking records, whether it is 3-point shot now or even the size of the ball. Particularly for women whose hands are smaller, and now we have a smaller ball. It's not a small ball. I feel like it's a perfect ball for our hands, but that size of the ball may have, may be huge, but I think less that and more of the 3-point shooting opportunity. Okay, moving on. Next question is, what is the half circle under the basket and what are the rules associated with it? Okay, so that's the restricted area, and you cannot draw an offensive foul if you are in, you can't draw a charge, offensive foul, if you are in that restricted area. So you have to be outside of that. And the purpose of that is to keep from too much banging, too much, I guess, really even getting hurt. When an offensive player is trying to drive to the basket and a defensive player just positions themselves in that area next to the basket, you don't want that to happen. So you have to be outside of that area and not just hanging out there so you can draw a charge. Okay. What is a pushing foul? Oh, I'm sorry. And that was from Vicky. Vicky Birch asked that question about the circle, the restricted area. Foxster 55 said, when is pushing a foul and when is it incidental contact? Well, that would take us back to the original question from Margie Savage, and that is, this league is so inconsistent with officiating, you wonder, right? But incidental contact is supposed to be contact that really doesn't hinder play. It's just normal action that doesn't put the offensive player at a disadvantage or puts any player, I suppose, at a disadvantage. It's incidental contact. Reminds me of when you play, street ball, pickup basketball. There's that saying, no blood, no foul, actually, or no harm, no foul, right? So if no one was put at a disadvantage. Now, pushing is not incidental contact. That breaks the rules of the game. It's not just incidental. That doesn't hurt. A foul that breaks the rules puts another player at a disadvantage. And so it's a foul. Now, I don't know. Like, I see offensive players pushing off a lot, and that doesn't seem to be called anymore. Caitlin does that a lot, actually. She does push off. I noticed Sabrina Ionescu pushes off, and they don't call that a whole lot, or at least not consistently. So again, that goes back to the officiating. But yeah, incidental contact is just that, incidental contact that doesn't put anyone at a disadvantage. So then we have a question from Dwayne, who's on YouTube as Plasma Storm 4396. His name is Dwayne. He asked this really interesting question. Do you think that the one and done rule has hurt the college basketball game? And he went on to say how back in the day, one of the college's selling points to parents when they were recruiting was the graduation rate of the players on the team. And most of the players who leave college early and go to the pros, they end up sitting on the bench, right? And he talks about level of skill like Bronny James, for example. Well, they could have developed their game, players like that, better if they spent more time in college And there also used to be a chance of dynasties like Kentucky and Duke and Indiana. And Dwayne says, I missed that era of college basketball. So here's the thing. The one and done, for those who don't know, one and done is in NCAA for men. They have to have 1 year of college now before they can go into the pros. That wasn't always the case. I mean, Kobe Bryant didn't go to college. He came right out of high school, for example. But now it's one and done. And they have to be 19 as well. Kobe entered at 17, right? They have to be 19, and they have to have fulfilled 1 year of college, and then they can be done. In the WNBA, they have to be finished school or be the calendar year of their 22nd birthday to be in the draft, as I understand it. Do I think it has hurt? Absolutely, I think it has hurt. Rare is the person who's ready to move to the next level. And so I think that, like you said, that you make those points, Dwayne, about dynasties, about players who are going to come and sit on the bench, things like that. Like even in high school, when I coached high school, if I wanted to take a JV player who would normally be in JV, like a freshman or a sophomore or whatever, and bring them up to varsity, the rule was supposed to be that that player had to start. Don't bring them up and just have them sitting on the bench, right? So they would have to have such phenomenal talent that they would be considered they would have to be starting. That was the way it was supposed to be. So imagine when you're talking about grown women and grown men, or grown men in this case, then one and done, you got these players who's got a father like LeBron who wants to play with his son, and he's not really ready, and all that. And it may also be opportunities for people to get hurt and to be around bad influences, because we know the NBA, sometimes the life that they can live on the road and all this other stuff, they're not really mature enough. So yeah, it's probably not only hurt the game, but also hurts individuals at times. So, okay. And the last question was compliments of Kara Hardy. Would you pick one game next season in Indiana to attend, and where we could schedule a meet and greet? Well, I can't, it's a lot to try to schedule a meet and greet or anything like that. And obviously don't want to use this platform to try to meet people. But as far as trying to get to a game, I certainly would like to get to a game. I did not get to an Indiana Fever game this year, but I would like to be able to get to a game, and it would be great if other people could do the same. So wait till next season and see what is up. So that is this Q&A edition. I hope I answered your questions. Remember, legends and goats. When I say, when I open it up and say, give your question, please do so. And for those, a lot of other people, you'll like send me questions and things like that. So I don't always get to answer everything. I don't always get to respond to things, but please know that I appreciate your thoughts. But you should consider joining Legend and Goat so that your question will be given priority. All right, so that's it for this Q&A. Appreciate you. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, everybody. And you can also get into the comments and you can respond to some of the questions you heard. Maybe your perspective is the same as mine, but maybe it's different. All right, I'll catch you next time, God willing. God bless you abundantly.